Hello, Iris J here with Madrona's Pulse Astrology. I am uploading this video on May 5th, so I am sending out eclipse blessings to all of you, wherever you are, no matter when you are watching this video. I usually upload videos on the Friday. And since it is still the eclipse, I am going to talk about the eclipse energies a little bit more today. Here, really focusing on how we can kind of bring intentions of moving through this day, this weekend, this week, the next few months. Eclipses and eclipse season, yes, they can bring sudden changes. They can, especially Uranus is present in our Scorpio eclipse today. They can bring circumstances and changes, but whether the change is subtle or whether it is literally a change of direction or a plot twist in your life, we're integrating and working and embodying and shifting our psyche and body for the next few months. So I just want to talk about how these energies and what are we shifting, what's happening. And for some of us, that might be really clear, especially if like that Uranus is there and it's like, yep, you're going this way now. For others, it's, and again, it always depends if we have personal planets, if we're being spoken to personally with the energies of the eclipses. For others, it might just be kind of this unraveling of energy. And now this new self is here, this new part of ourself. And it's kind of like, okay, let's play. I don't really know how, but let's go. You know, it all different ways. And then there's always with eclipse season, the collective shifts and the personal. And what I really want to kind of talk about here is how we can bring these two eclipses together that we've had as we move forward and kind of have just weave a narrative for that. So we had this Aries eclipse 2 weeks ago, the solar Aries eclipse. And this eclipse, you know, it was final degree of Aries. It was really kind of initiation, birthing energy. Let's maybe say bursting energy with Aries. And it literally is, especially when we're looking at astrology from an evolutionary perspective, which is how I look at astrology since I'm an evolutionary astrologer, really looking at how it's supporting us, our souls, as we move forward in these human lives right now. This eclipse really was initiating a bursting of some type of sacred self within us, a new aspect of a sacred self within us. This could be new in the sense that all of the sudden we just said, you know what? I want to take a class in, I don't know, improv, right? I want to explore an artist within me that I've never had the opportunity or even the desire, or it could be something that has always been within us. Sorry, that was the dog shaking everything. Or it could be something that has always been within us that now circumstances have changed. Practically, circumstances have changed. Maybe your kids have grown and you're in a new spot in your life. Maybe you have worked through a phase or chapter of your life that you had to work through, and there's a new path opening up. And so that really sacred self was bursting through, shifting right immediately into that Taurus energy. So much just shifted into the Taurus part of our chart and psyche. And it wants to materialize. It wants to be embodied. And yet for that to happen, Scorpio eclipse says, well, you have to make room. Because, you know, despite the esoteric metaphysical places that we go in our spiritual astrology, simple math says if you've got this new energy with you, you got to let go because you can't carry it all. There's just not enough space in the psyche body. And so the Scorpio eclipse is really working with that Aries solar eclipse, inviting us, always an invitation, whether we see it or not, to release. Really, this is energetically. Really, this is deep in our psychology of our being. What we just don't need. And what we just don't need, you know, there's so many complicated labels that get put on, whether we call it shadow work or whether we call it just psychology or whether we call it healing. And a lot of those kind of, there can be kind of added work, or there can be shame, or there can, and it's not about the fact that like we're late, or we should have let it go earlier. It's just that now is the time. We're here now. Whatever was there, we needed. Okay, we needed to go through certain experiences. We needed to struggle with certain things. We needed to take our time understanding, finding our place within the beautiful mess that is the Scorpio depths. And part of it is ready to let go. And I'm speaking abstractly because this is different for all of us. Okay, this could definitely be your own journey in terms of relating to your family, relating to experiences of childhood. This could be the way that you relate to society. This could be, it could be the way that you relate to something like patriarchy and the way that that's impacted you, and most likely that's impacted you in your personal story too. Whatever it is, it could be the way that we've just hidden part of ourselves because we weren't ready to show it, and now maybe something's cleared and that Aries self is like, hey, hi folks, here I am. It doesn't matter. We can speak abstractly because the form, the content, the narrative of what we're each personally shedding, going through, what matters is that we feel the invitation, we slow down enough, and there might be a moment of saying goodbye. It might come today, it might come this weekend, it might come 3 months from now, it might come 3 years from now. But that saying goodbye is a ritual, and it brings a form to all of this energy. And I really encourage, if you do sit with this practice at some point, just being quite, not forcing anything. Sometimes all we have to say is a sweet goodbye. If more comes with that, then you can go with that. This can be a practice that comes through a journal. This can be a practice that just comes from finding a beautiful place in nature that you love, and you just sit with it and you explore that. You don't even need to use words. You can just have the intention that you're going to let some energy go, so that this exciting Aries birthing self has the capacity to materialize as we move forward. And these are shifts that are going to take a while. Pluto has gone retrograde. Mercury's retrograde right now. As Mercury's retrograde, Vesta is sitting right there with Mercury, really supporting the healing embodiment that can be coming through as the Scorpio eclipse is happening. I'm not speaking so much about the aspects of the chart. That's in the Scorpio eclipse video. The link is below. You can look at that if you haven't seen it. But really just supporting this process of just creating space and really bringing love and excitement. So many folks talk about Scorpio and it's just about the work and the shadow and the grief. And yes, all of that can be present. The eclipse and the energy here and what's shifting, this is a moment of transformation. This isn't about getting stuck in the narrative. This is about acknowledging the grief if it's there, and also letting it go on its way. This is Scorpio, this is water. It could be lovely to kind of put a little, pick up a piece of wood, or just put all that energy into it and just let it go into the water and say goodbye to it. However that, we can externalize these processes and these ritualistic, very meaningful moments. And it's really lovely to do whatever comes intuitively to you. But there is something that wants to leave because there's so much here. And knowing that you don't even need to know it. You don't need to understand. There's a lot of retrograde energy. There's going to be a lot of shifts and turnings and going back and pulling things up and letting them go and then blossoming. And we're going to move forward, and it's going to be a non-linear journey, as it always actually is. And we can just be with ourselves in this moment. And this eclipse is paradigm shifting energy. And that's also a nice reason why it could be important to just kind of take some moments over this weekend, over the next little while, and journal with it, have a ritual around it, and just invite the energy to shift. And then we will move forward on our journeys. So that is my eclipse video for you today. I'm going to keep it short, and blessings to everyone. If you're new, please subscribe, like, all of that jazz, and I will see you. Take care.